What we're going to do today is Eric and Ernesto are going to walk you through from zero to viral on TikTok, which is amazing. But the backstory about this is when I met Ernesto, I was telling him like, I've known TikTok has been an opportunity for so long, and I see so much traffic there, and everybody's excited about it, but I don't know how I can take like my Amazon business and make it actually matter. Like I don't know how to take like an existing Amazon brand, my products, and make it meaningful to like my real business. Because TikTok to me seemed like kind of like a side hustle that you can't take seriously. And he says, no, no, no. You can actually take real Amazon brands. We're doing it every day and making them gigantic lift in revenue, but then there's like this bleed over revenue that comes back to your Amazon business and ranks your product. So it's like this double benefit where margins increase, rankings increase, like everything gets better when you have all this traffic. So I was like, man, you got to show me more. And then he brought Eric into my life and said, Eric is the guy that's done millions and millions and millions on Amazon, but also the guy that understands TikTok and is recently just crushing TikTok. So I said, please, please, please come and share it with my audience. Guys, I'm so thankful for you carving out an hour today to do this. So, guys, let's jump right in.
All right, good. Thank you. Thank you. Nice words, Seth. And yet, TikTok today reminds me of Amazon when I started on Amazon in 2014. So if you could rewind time and start on Amazon in 2014, you know, you guys know we would probably be billionaires by now, right? If we knew what we know now. So let's get started with the slides.
Well, I started in 2014, Ernesto, but I'm not a billionaire. But I'm doing what I want every day, so that's good enough for me.
Exactly, exactly. So Um, so I'm Ernesto. I'm a partner at Bullseye Sellers. I started selling in Amazon in 2014 as well, in betting. Um, so I exited my brand in 2016. It was already on track of generating eight figures. Eight figures. We were selling 2016. We were already selling $600,000 per month in just 2 years. You cannot do that on Amazon these days, but you can do it in Amazon. Okay, and we're going to show you some examples. So Bullseye Sellers started in 2018 as a full service Amazon agency. Today we manage 150 brands, and we started managing TikTok shops 2 years ago. Over 70 of those brands are that we manage are on TikTok shop. All right, so just the agenda, what to expect in today's webinar. First, I'm going to go over a few TikTok stats, then how your competitors are outranking you and outselling you on Amazon while spending half of what you spend, the different phases of TikTok Shop in order to guarantee virality, and real life examples of brands that went viral. Then we have a bonus right before our Q&A. We have a bonus, a product virality assessment. It is extremely important. It is the make or break point on what product you launch on TikTok Shop. It needs to be demonstrable. It needs to be TikTokable. You'll see this is worth $1,000, but we have a little surprise for you. And then we're gonna do live Q&A. So here are some statistics. Amazon sellers, today you have 1.9 million sellers trying to sell on Amazon. TikTok Shop currently has 216,000, so it's close to 10% of the competition on TikTok Shop compared to Amazon. In 2010, Amazon had 200,000 sellers. So right now, TikTok is like Amazon in 2010 as far as the number of sellers, except it won't take 15 years for TikTok Shop to catch up to Amazon. It will take much less, right? I'm thinking 5 years before it catches up. TikTok Shop annual sales in the USA is $9 billion annually, and it will double in 2026. So they broke 9 billion in 2025. It's going to double in 2026. 50% of TikTok Shop users are over the age of 35. So it's no longer a teenager platform. Okay, half of them are over 35, and nearly 50% of TikTok users have purchased on TikTok Shop. So pretty interesting statistics. I want to introduce Eric. He's also a Bullseye Sellers partner. He's the co-host of the Ecom Marketing Lab podcast. He is himself a seven-figure ecom seller. He successfully exited in 2020, and he has helped over 100 brands generate over $50 million on Amazon, scale the brand from $0 to $1 million per month on TikTok Shop, And this doesn't count the spillover effect into D2C or Amazon. Just on TikTok, this brand was doing $1 million a month and generated over $3 million on TikTok Shop just last year alone. So, Eric, take it away, my friend.
Eric, before you jump in here, man, I just wanted to let everybody know that Eric told me that he's on pace to do $5 or $6 million on TikTok alone this year. He's done this for many, many brands, and what he's going to share to you, with you today, is like the blueprint that he's already proven to work. It's not like he's guessing; he's done it many, many times. So, guys, please pay attention. Eric's going to share a wealth of knowledge. As he's presenting, though, I'm going to be in the background checking the chat box. So if you have questions for Eric, let me know and I will interrupt him if it makes sense. If it doesn't, we will get to all Q&A at the very, very end. And like Ernesto said, they've got an easy button for you at the end of this thing, which is an amazing bonus that they shared with me, which is like the way to know for sure if your products will actually go and hit it big on TikTok, which is amazing. So Eric, please, without further ado, my friend, take it away.
Awesome, awesome. Well, first of all, thank you very much for the warm introduction. Speaking of that brand that I took from zero to a million, in the month of December, we did $1 million. And the amazing part about it is we did it with no advertising. That is unheard of on any platform. So first, when we getting into this, what I'm going to do is I'd like to go over how the Amazon climate has changed. So since 2020, the thing that you can see, and you've probably noticed as a seller yourself, is that the fees are getting more every year. Since 2021, our fees have gone up by 20 to 28%. This making it a more competitive and a harder market to succeed. You've also noticed the cost per click going from 71 cents to $1.12, up 58% since 2020. So what do you do in this climate? How do you get ahead? And the answer is external marketing. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show you some examples of some brands that are doing this well, because I know as a seller working with sellers, they sit there writing the search volume, converting at a percentage of that search volume, but essentially riding the wave. The only way to get ahead is external marketing. So let me just back out here. So here's a category. The keyword is toner pads. As you can see, the search volume is 36,000. It's not very much. Now, if you scroll down, you can see that the best two sellers here after advertising is Medicube and GU. Now, Medicube is number one in beauty. I mean, you cannot give that enough emphasis. How is this person number one with 30,000 search volume? And the answer is external marketing. Now, there are other platforms like YouTube and Meta, but we're going to be talking about TikTok Shop today, and this brand is crushing it. So let's go ahead and take a look at them. As you can see here, they did $5 million in the last 30 days, sold over 250,000 units. Absolutely incredible. Number one in beauty. Well, what does external marketing look like? Well, external marketing can be seen in branded search. You can see that they have 760,000 search volume. That is crazy. That is over 20 times the amount of search volume for their main keyword. This is absolutely insane. So here's the second example. GU Skincare. They're absolutely crushing it. Got the viral on TikTok badge, crushing it. $180,000. 2,800 units. Let's look at their branded search. You can see here their branded search is 57,000, 67,000, about double the main keyword search volume. It's still nothing to, it's not as impressive as Medicube, but you can still see that they're absolutely crushing. Now let's see what these guys are doing on TikTok. So the first one is GU Skincare. They're doing 1.3 million in the last 30 days. They did 500 new videos, and they're absolutely crushing it. What is the purpose of TikTok? It is top of funnel. And top of funnel is letting people know you sell a product that solves a problem that they did not know that existed. And what happens is they come and they search for you on Amazon, on Walmart, D2C, and it basically brings about awareness. And this is what makes TikTok so amazing. There's the other factors as well, which is that it's also a social media and it also has a bottom of funnel. And as you can see here, their bottom of funnel is doing quite nice. So here's GU Skincare. Now here is Medicube, 14.7 million in the last 30 days. Now, keep in mind, they are crushing it. They did 95,000 pieces of content in the last 30 days. Now, that might seem like a lot. It is. It's a tremendous amount. And this is not where they started. What we're going to go over today is we're going to talk, how do you go from where you are to where you want to be, and how do you deal with eliminating the most amount of mistakes possible. And the gift is actually going to complement that, because we'll get into that, but it's basically going to help you know, is your product a good fit or is it not? And this is going to save you tons of trial and error. Now I'm going to go ahead and go back to my presentation. Okay, great. Now I'm going to preface this as if you are just getting started on TikTok. We specialize in cold start. Cold start means that you are brand new to the platform, and I'm going to basically start as if you were this seller. Wonderful. The first thing you need to do is you need to open up your TikTok shop, and you need to verify yourself as a business. In doing so, you're going to want to use the EIN confirmation letter. The EIN confirmation letter is the CP575. It's basically the document that you get when you get an EIN issued. This is the one that they want to see, and this is how you verify the business. Then you get to verify the personal, which can be done with an electric bill, an ID, and a passport. You do need, one thing that I will say is that you also need a U.S. point of contact. So if you are not a U.S. seller, there are some solutions for this, but I would bring this up after in Q&A. But for the most part, remember, you need a U.S. point of contact. Okay, great. So now you got your products, you got your shop created. The next thing you need to do is you need to add your products from a platform. You have two options. You can synchronize them from Amazon, you can synchronize them from Shopify. It really depends on how you want your business set up. Now, there's a few apps that we can use here. There's Webby, there's Silk, there's Aftership. There's TikTok. I personally like Silk. I think that it is user-friendly. The TikTok Shop app, they are already going through a tremendous amount of growing pains. So if you want zero support, that would be the app to use. I would say I like Silk. Now keep in mind that the product ID connected to the product is what it's going to be for the lifetime of that product. And what does that mean? That means reviews, videos, things of this nature. You cannot change it. So the whole lifespan and history is connected to this product ID. So you want to think it through how you're going to add your product. Are you going to connect it to MCF? Are you not? You can also have the option to do it manually. That is an option as well. I do think that if you have any questions about this, again, ask in Q&A, and it would be something that we can, that I would highly recommend to ask before you do, because this can save you a lot of issues in the future. Great. Once your products are added, there's a few things that you need to do to make sure that your shop is set up correctly and you're ready to go. So you want to link your TikTok creator account. Now, the difference between a regular creator and a seller is that you'll have a shop connected to it. And this is a foundational step that you will need to do. Second thing is you need to add a trademark. Your trademark is a little bit different than Amazon. It does need to be a registered trademark. If you do not have a registered trademark, there are some other things that you can do, which you can bring up in Q&A, but they do require that it is a registered trademark. Next thing you need to do is category approval. Similar to Amazon, there are some categories that require permission, require some documentation. It can be done. It's not a huge hurdle, but this is something to prepare yourself. So if you happen to sell something that is typically requires gating on Amazon, do expect the same thing here on TikTok Shop. The next thing is flash deal. So this isn't conventional marketing. This is not Amazon. They don't have a credit card in their hand. This is interruption marketing. So what we like to do is something called a flash deal. A flash deal basically shows that there is a discount going on for a certain amount of time and creates urgency, because that's what you need to get a purchase. It also increases conversion. A flash deal, you can raise the price and then you can discount it by 11%, or you can do 11% from that price. Now, this is all in your pricing strategy. Is something you want to consider when going over your margin, but a flash deal essentially is a discount that creates urgency as well as increases conversion. Then you have subscribe and save. Subscribe and save was just added in October. It is probably the best thing that Amazon ever did, and it's also amazing on TikTok. I've been working with a seller. We got it up to about $15,000, $20,000 in monthly recurring revenue. Absolutely amazing. And this is where consumables will shine. And this is something that is absolutely critical to do on TikTok Shop as well. So now you want to also optimize the listing. So it's not about keywords, it's about consumer. So you want to make sure that everything communicates to the consumer and tells a story. So when you go to the listing, you want to make sure that you hit the benefits in a way similar to Amazon that communicates one point at a time, that gives the maximum probability of a conversion. Hero image. Now, the hero image on TikTok Shop is a little bit different. You have a little bit more playroom. On Amazon, 90% of the background has to be white. TikTok Shop, you can get away with a lot of crazy stuff. So take advantage of that to increase your click-through rate in the hero image. Awesome. What is a cold start? A cold start means that you are brand new to the platform. It means you have no revenue. And so TikTok has taken some precautions to eliminate the spam to creators and kind of protect them, as well as make you kind of have to prove yourself so that you're not a scammer. So in the beginning, you start with a starter pack of 1,000 messages. Now, this is kind of a problem because when reaching out to creators, you typically get a sample approval rate of about 3%. And so for us to get traction, it is important to get your creator outreach up to a certain amount. So once you get your first sale, you can reach out to about 2,000. Once you're over 2,000, you can reach out to 7,000 creators. And keep in mind that you typically convert a sample at about 3%. Now, this can be handled with a few solutions. The solution that I'm going to recommend today is something called Celico. So Celico is a service that essentially creates fake sales that mimic organic purchases that will buy from a video. And in doing so, this will raise your GMV so that you can go from, instead of just crawling along, you can go from 0 to 100, because we need to get the algorithm understanding what kind of videos you have, what kind of product you have, as well as get the flywheel so that videos are coming out every day. And the first thing you have to overcome is the outreach. And so to do that, this is the service that we recommend, which is Celico. If you are a $10 million plus seller, we can get this whitelisted for you and make it so you have unlimited outreach from the very beginning, as well as get you a rep from day one. TikTok is going above and beyond to essentially whitelist and give you kind of the royal treatment if you are a 10 million plus seller. Okay, great. Now we're going to talk about affiliates. Affiliates are fantastic. Affiliates could be synonymous, could be the same as salespeople. You're essentially training salespeople. These people are going to be promoting your brand. They need to understand what you sell. They need to have some stories that they can share. They need to show use cases. They need to do things that are going to show why your product is great. And that's what makes TikTok great, is because it's the authenticity. It's real people making real videos about your product.
Hey, Eric, before you jump in, man, first of all, this is amazing. Like, I haven't seen you share all these details yet, so this is amazing. And we're getting tons of questions in the chat box. Guys, I will get to 100% of them. I know Eric can help on a lot of them. Like Lori's asking about listing optimization on TikTok, and we have like approval questions and all these things. So please just type your questions in the chat box and we'll go through all of them. So like, don't try to like remember your question at the end because it'll be too hard. Just literally type it in the chat box and we'll get to them all. Okay. Thanks, Eric.
Yeah, very welcome. Very welcome. Like he said, save your questions for the end. There's going to be a lot of questions, and you probably even have more questions as we continue to get through the slides. So let's get back to it. So affiliates, these are your salespeople, and what you need to do is four things. You need to reach out to them, let them know about the opportunity they have, because this is a win-win situation. You're giving them a commission of every sale. And the beautiful thing is it's performance-based. So if they make a video that doesn't sell, they make nothing. If they make a video that sells, well, they may make 10 to 20%, depending upon what you're offering them. So we're going to reach out to them and we're going to let them know what the commission opportunity is for this brand. We're also going to go and explain the product, and we're going to explain to them that we're going to do fast approval. And this is not a one and done. We want to work together to create a relationship, because they're your sales team. You are only as strong as your creators. So I just want to emphasize that enough. You are only as strong as your creators, and this starts from the first one. So this is the very beginning of what we're building. Great. So with that, we're going to send them an affiliate brief. In this is going to be who the product is for. You're building that avatar. You're going to talk about talking points. You're going to talk about what not to say. So for example, let's say that you're selling a product that does weight loss. You cannot say on any platform that this product guarantees weight loss. As you know, on Amazon, that's a very touchy subject. It's a touchy subject on any platform. So you have to be very careful about what you not say is just as much as what you do say. And so in the brief, we're going to go over exactly what that looks like so that they don't get an account health violation and slow down their speed and their progress on the platform. So the other thing is content angles. How can you use this product? What's the best way that might look good in a video? Because we know our product better than they do. So it's good for us to kind of give them the lay of the land and let them know what best practices are, how this product could be used, how could it be shown, give them a call to action if applicable. And this is essentially what our brief. I'm going to show you an example here. So here is an example of a brief. Now, I have 3 sections for hooks. So a hook, what is a hook? A hook could be defined, why did I watch that video? And so essentially you're hooking them in and grabbing their attention, right? So this is interruption marketing. So the hook has 3 components. We have what is on the screen. What are you doing on the video, which is the visual, right? The next thing is speech. What are you saying? What are you saying? The last would be screen text. So you may say something on the screen. You might say no more dry skin. And then you might be rubbing the creams on your arms and say something like, I can't believe I went my whole life without this eczema cream or something to that effect. And that is essentially how you hook them in. That makes it so that they watch the whole video. And that is the most important thing that the creator is trying to do is grab their attention. So in this example, this is an eczema cream. And so here are a few things to avoid in your content. Cures, heals, prevents, instant or permanent results. So as you know, we cannot claim or say that the product does anything. So as you know, on Amazon, you've had to creatively, carefully word things in a way to avoid this issue. And that is the same on TikTok because they have creator account health as well as we do. And so you want to take care of your creators the same as your team because essentially they are the tip of the spear. Okay, great. In the first 30 days, you're starting an uphill battle. Nobody knows who you are. You could be making 100 million on Amazon. You might have some more creators that want to work with you, but essentially you're starting at the same place as everybody else. You are a 0 revenue brand. And so what you need to do is you got to push through the unknown, the lack of sales, the no hooks, the no videos. And in doing so, you work with micro influencers, which is the L1, L2. We're talking about $0 to $20,000 in revenue. And these are kind of creators that are a little bit hungrier, trying to make a name for themselves and haven't really established themselves. So they're kind of eager to take on more work and more jobs, and they're more communicative in the platform. Now, why is this the case? Well, if you scroll down to here to a creator doing 150,000, first of all, they don't even answer their messages. They're getting so many messages that they literally do not see their messages. And if you reach out to them via email, you'll get a one piece talking about retainers and like probably won't even be from the creator, it'll probably be from the creator's agent. Like they are so successful that they don't even answer their own emails. So when you start, you want to start in the L1, L2, and you want to find these hungry creators that are trying to make a name for themselves and make some good videos. Now, keep in mind, it's volume focused. We want to get the algorithm going, and we want to push through the probationary period, and we want to get a lot of content made. Once we get to the next step, we start to have some sales. We're starting to get some hooks that are going because the creators are looking at the analytics the same way that we are. They're looking at what videos are doing well, which ones are converting, which ones are not, and they're essentially stealing ideas. And whenever there starts to be a trend, like a trending hook or a trending product, the creators start to want to jump on the bandwagon. And in doing so, you start to have some success. And success looks like something called an open collaboration, which means that you start to get creators coming to you without you having to go to them. And what this looks like is like this. So here is a screen of sample requests from creators. And we've got creators here that are doing over $100,000 in revenue that we didn't even reach out to. This is a sign of success. This means that creators want to work with you because your product is trending, you have videos that are going viral, or they just know that this product is hot and it's trending for somebody else, and they think that they're going to be able to have the same success. So this is ultimately what we want to see. We want to see creators interested because the first person we have to sell is the creators. If the creators are not interested, then the consumers will never be interested because they have to like what they're doing. They have to like the product. And you can tell in the content that they make that they don't like it. Or you can tell that they do like it and that everybody wants to work with you. And it looks like this. And when this happens, this is a beautiful thing. Wonderful. So once you get samples going, and it's going well, and you're starting to get open collaborations, you're starting to get L3, L4 creators. Next thing to do is to build an affiliate community. The community could be broken down into a few purposes. First thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding value and creating that relation, letting them know that we're not just another brand, that we actually invest in our creator success, and we want them to invest in our success. And what we do is we play games with them. We say the highest GMV. GMV is sales, by the way. The highest GMV on the platform for this month, we're going to give you $1,000 or $500, something to that effect, to kind of incentivize them and to kind of be competitive and to try to make more videos. And in doing so with the games, you might make it so a creator goes from making 3 videos that month to playing during the game. They might make 30 videos. So the purpose of the game is to get more videos, more interest, and to get more care factor from the creator. The next thing we do is hire commission. So we'll find that top tier creators that are doing well with our brand, and we'll give them a little bit of a higher commission. We'll incentivize them, say, hey, we see what you're doing and it is appreciated, and we're going to give you an extra few percentage points just to keep you around, keep you interested in our brand. And that is a higher commission because they're getting messaged by thousands of brands. So not only do we have to make them feel important, we have to actually show them as well. So let's say they found us by the eczema cream. The next thing we want to do is create a product opportunity. So let's say we have an antifungal, or we have another product. We then let them see that we also have other products that we're promoting, and we might give them an amazing deal on that, because success on TikTok isn't on a brand level, it is on a product level. So we need to get success on one product, and then we might take those same creators that have kind of proven themselves and say, hey, we have another product, we'd like to share the same opportunity, and here you go. The last thing that we can do is called a retainer. A retainer is basically saying, hey, I will pay you this amount of money for this amount of videos. This is what we would like to do with them. And that can be a good opportunity. I like to use that when working with really big creators. And it's something sometimes it takes a little bit extra to really create that relationship. Now, one thing I will say is that affiliates will reciprocate. So make sure to spoil them, because they will spoil you. What is a good affiliate? A good affiliate is the creator that does more than 10 videos per month. They adhere to the creator brief, and they help other creators. So I'll go ahead and give you an example. So that brand that did 1 million last month, or in December, we have about probably 100 creators in that brand that are absolutely crushing it. We got creators sharing videos. Other creators are going on their videos. They're commenting, they're liking, they're sharing. And what is that? That creates virality. Virality is like, comments, and shares. So when you have the affiliates working together to create that virality, that is an amazing experience to be a part of. And that is how we did $1 million with no advertising. It's from the creators being amazing and helping to create that viral content, because virality is what pushes the video on TikTok and with what makes things exciting. So I'll go ahead and read this line again. I can't emphasize it enough. Your brand is only as successful as the creators you have in your group. If you have 0 creators, you are truly in the beginning, and it is going to be an uphill climb. So as we progress, you'll notice that your creator group will start to grow. You'll start to get hooks that are winning. Your product will start to trend, and you'll start to get an avalanche of creators. And what makes TikTok different than any other platform is, I would say, TikTok is like Bitcoin. It is very volatile. You can go from 0 to 50,000 in 2 months. It basically reminds me of Amazon back in the 2017, 2018. I think we just had a case study, which Ernesto will go over here in a little bit, of a brand that went from 0 to $250,000 in 90 days, which was a pretty amazing story. And those kind of crazy rides still happen on TikTok today. And it is quite amazing to see and to watch. Amazing. So now we've got creators in the group, and the next thing to do is to scale. Scaling, you have to scale your samples proportionate to your revenue. So remember, it's on a product by product basis. So in the beginning, we might start 150 samples per product, but as we progress, we're going to move from 150 per month to 100 videos per week. We're also going to potentially increase the quality of creators that we're giving them. So we might give it to creators that do over $5,000 per month, or over their post rate and their followers and yada yada, or a higher threshold because the demand is greater. So we're trying to play with what we have here, and as your product is trending, videos are going viral, the quality of creators you're getting is also increasing. So if you can scale at a higher quality, that is definitely what we recommend. Again, 400 per month is essentially what we want to do. Volume precedes virality. So keep in mind, when I showed you Metacube, and I showed you the other brand, you could see the amount of samples that they were doing is relevant to their monthly sales. Awesome. So here's an overview of the first 30 days, trying to get your shop approved, get 50 affiliate videos, and get you out of probation. And when you're in probation, there is a certain threshold that TikTok basically says you cannot exceed, and your daily order limit, as well as the creators that you can work with. So it's very important that you get out of probation, because you can't go viral and have great success until you're out of probation. This can be done in the first 30 days with a few tricks. Celico is one of them. We went over their previous, but essentially it has to do with having a certain amount of mature orders, essentially letting TikTok know that you are not a scam and that you're here to play and you're a real brand. The next thing you want to do within 30, 60 days is we're going to turn on the advertising. We're going to have the video flywheel. Videos are going to be coming out every day at this point. Our hook is optimized. We're starting to see what is working, because in the beginning we're testing. It's just like any other e-com platform. It's test, 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 and we're learning. We're learning like what makes this video tick. We might go through a series of hooks until we find what is a winner. And once we do find a winner, well, it makes it easier to spread, and people make iterations and versions of that until it continues to go viral and explodes. By day 90, we're talking about 100 videos per product per week, L4, L5 creators pushing the brand, multiple hooks working, thriving creator group, and scaling sales. I typically say that after 10,000 a month, you're typically scaling, and you can go from 10 to 50 to 100 to 250,000 in as short as 90 days. Awesome. So here's the TikTok Shop truth. This is what we're trying to solve on TikTok. And this is the same for every brand, regardless of category, regardless of what issue that you face. This is the three problems. What is the right product? Now, on Amazon, you might have a product as a bestseller. It's your 80/20. That might be the one that you want to do. And it's possible that it might be a good product. It might not. The first problem you have to solve is, what is the right product on this platform? Because TikTok is a visual platform. So is your product demonstratable? How do we make your product stand out? How do we show your product in a way that is going to create desire or create interest? And the first thing is, what is the right product? The next thing is, do I have the right creator? So not all creators are the right fit, because essentially what a creator is a salesperson. So we need to find a person that matches the customer avatar for you, that can communicate this product in a way that talks about the problem that it solves, how did it help them, and why should you buy it? And it typically has a good call to action at the end. And you're going to go through 1,000 creators before you find the right one. But once you find the right product, the right creator, the next thing is the right hook. And when you get all three of these dialed in, you're probably most likely on a viral path to success. And so remember, if it's not the right product, what you need to do is you need to go through a rotation and you need to test it. And the gift that we're going to give is going to talk about this very point, which is the first thing. What is the right product? So Ernesto will get into that in a little bit, but how are we going to do this? So we're going to use systems. We're going to do volume, lots of samples, and we're going to create relationships with creators for your brand to build an army of salespeople. Because, like I said before, You are only as strong as your creators, and that requires a lot of relationship building, communication, and letting people know when they do a good job. So we send the top videos for the week. We give them shout outs. We let people know, hey, you did a really good job. You have to go above and beyond. I would give you a little gem. I would highly recommend doing this in WhatsApp. And the reason being is engagement. So engagement can be seen as response from the creator. They are all in about 50 Discords. So I highly recommend if you're just getting started that WhatsApp probably would be a better fit for managing your creators due to an increased engagement. Awesome. If you follow the exact roadmap we showed you, what will determine whether you sell 5,000 per month or $1 million per month is the product. Now, that is going to be the end of my slide. Ernesto, I'm going to pass this back to you. But I just wanted to say before I do that, that the product is going to be the difference between a lot of trial and error or some smooth success.
Hey, Ernesto, you're muted, my friend.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Eric. That's amazing. As you guys can see, Eric is very passionate about TikTok. And why not? I remember he started this a little over 2 years ago, and the first 6 months it was very frustrating, very tough. Then once he figured it out, it was go time. So I will share the next few slides. I'll spend about 5 minutes, and then we can go into our Q&A. I saw a lot of questions come in, so good. First, I want to go over. So, if you apply what Eric just showed you, and you also have the right product, what can happen? Here's a case study. We took a brand from zero to $275,000 per month on TikTok Shop in 4 months. This was a 5.5 ROAS, and this does not include the spillover effect into Amazon or D2C. This was a cards and paper goods brand. It took 5 months to scale, but once it scaled, we broke $500,000 in 5 months.
Hey,
This is the
Ernesto,
toy brand. Go ahead.
I don't know if I missed it when Eric talked about it, but you just said spillover effect. Eric, did you talk about that at all?
I didn't necessarily classify it as spillover effect, but I did give some examples in the very beginning, and that spillover effect is branded search. And that's what it looks like. It's people coming to look for you without searching Amazon. Instead of indexing by eczema skincare, you're now the brand eczema cream, which basically is people are starting to look for you instead of search on Amazon, which is way more profitable.
Okay, so let me just say that in my language to maybe like drive this home, because this is like why I'm so excited about it, because TikTok like sits on top of your Amazon business as like a massive accelerant. So imagine that somebody's scrolling through TikTok and they see your video that an affiliate made and they're like, wow, that product looks great, but I don't really like TikTok as much, the shop as much as Amazon. So I'm going to flip back over to Amazon and find your product. Okay, fantastic. But what happens is you didn't have to spend any money on PPC. Like that is a direct click essentially to your branded product. So there's no extra expenses. So those are the highest profit sales you can possibly make on Amazon. So what happens then? Well, Amazon sees that external traffic hitting your listings and they give you increased organic ranking. So you start to get this flywheel effect on Amazon going as well. So it's like a massive supercharger. That's why like in some of my emails you guys probably read like literally TikTok is like pouring gas on your fire. And that's, when you said that, Ernesto, about spillover revenue, I just wanted to clarify, like that is an actual huge benefit. And Eric, I think you have some stats on this. It's like, if you make $200,000 on TikTok, you're probably going to see an extra 40 or 50 on Amazon. Is that right?
Yeah, something to that effect. There's a whole metric which I like to look at when it talks about the spillover. And the spillover isn't entirely sales on TikTok, but it's views on TikTok, because we're talking about eyeballs. We're talking about people seeing your product. And so, like you said, you see the video, and next thing you know, that video is gone because it's a social media. Next thing you know, you're interested, and you're going down the marketing funnel, and you start at awareness, then you go to consideration, and next thing you know, you're on Amazon searching for something like Metacube toner pads. I saw a video, I'm interested, and now you just got free traffic to your listing that Amazon is going to reward you for, as well as bring down your tacos. It's absolutely amazing. The halo effect on TikTok is what made TikTok so viral in 2025, and I'm sure it'll be the same in 2026.
Okay, Ernesto, I'm sorry for
Yeah.
interrupting. Go
No,
ahead.
no, no. It's great. This is great, and I'm glad you're clarifying this. And yeah, we've seen as low as 10% of the TikTok shop spill over to Amazon, but we've also seen it up to 60%
Wow, that's
or
crazy.
spill over to Amazon. And it's not just the benefit of getting the spillover effect on the sales, but it also helps with the ranking and and then more organic sales come in. So it becomes a snowball effect. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, one of the brands that I was working with, they were getting into retail, and the retailer asked them, "How big is your following on TikTok?" And that was a gauge of whether what kind of how many products they could bring into the store, or if they could even be added to retail, because TikTok is a measurement of interest.
That's right. That's right. We actually did a whole webinar on how you can use TikTok to attract big retail stores. Okay, good. So back to my slides. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Good. Okay, good. So this is the toy brand. It went from zero to $1 million in monthly sales. And what's crazy about this one, I know Eric already said it, but zero ad spend. It was all organic. We got a bunch of videos going viral on TikTok Shop. Okay, good. So what do you need to have in order to make this happen? You need to have the right product. This is extremely important. So I saw someone ask, how do you determine if it's the right product? Well, from a 20,000 foot view, it needs to be demonstrable. It needs to be TikTokable. It needs to be easy to see the effects. It needs to be an impulse buy. So that being said, if I gave you direct access to one of our best account managers, would you guys be interested? I want to know the response here. Who would be interested on meeting with one of our guys? Yes. Sam says yes. Lisa says yes. Tara says yes. Okay, good. Good. So we show some interest. So I will keep moving forward with the slides. So this is the Bullseye Sellers Elite team. Okay, there's Eric, there's myself. So out of over 150 people that we have working in the company, we have 5 team leads, just like Eric, who are the highest paid people in the company. And these are the people who actually, the account managers, the strategists. These are actually partners. We made these people partners of Bullseye Sellers because we could not pay them enough to work with us. Okay, they actually own a piece of the company, and we're offering something which I'll go over. But this is the Bullseye Sellers team, elite team. It is not a sales call. I want to make this very clear. Okay, if you meet with us, we will not try to sell you or get your money. Of course, if you guys want to schedule a follow-up call and talk to us about what do we offer, how much do we charge, we can always schedule that. But what I'm about to offer, it is not a sales call. What is it? It is a product virality assessment, and it's worth $1,000. And we actually sell this. It's a 1-hour call, $1,000 to go over your catalog virality scoring. So we rank each of your products on visual appeal, impulse factor, and share potential. Like Eric was saying, sometimes your best seller, your hero product on Amazon, does not do well on TikTok. And sometimes vice versa, your worst product on Amazon takes off on TikTok, and then it becomes your best product on Amazon because of the TikTok effect, right? TikTok is a completely different platform and strategy. So we will go over the affiliate profile definition. So what kind of affiliates you should reach out to promote that product. Demand and trend validation. So viral product signals, content patterns, and creator traction on TikTok Shop. We will go over viral trigger identification. So define the key hooks and content angles required to drive traction. Do's and don'ts when getting on TikTok, what kills momentum, etc. And then, so we have a software that can look at competitor analysis. So we study what your competitors are doing, what's working, what's not working. And we will also tell you, if we look at your whole catalog and we see that no products are a good fit for TikTok Shop, we will tell you so you don't waste time or money trying to get TikTok going if you do not have a good TikTokable product. All right, here's the bad news. We cannot do this for everyone. These guys have limited time, and we can only do 25. So the first 25 people who book a call will get this for free. If more people want to get it, sure, we're open to it, but you will need to pay $1,000 for the hour. We are paying these people to do this. So these account managers are very busy. As you can see, Eric, very passionate, very smart on TikTok, and we're willing to do this for the first 25. This is the code to scan to book a consultation, product virality assessment. Scan this. We'll meet with you for an hour or up to an hour. We'll go over your catalog. You can also go to bullseyesellers.com. If you don't have a phone to scan this QR code, you can go to bullseyesellers.com and just book a call. And
Hey, Ernesto, so when you and I talked about this so long ago, like absolutely amazing that you're doing this because what you said is true. Like you said, like when we were talking about doing this session, you were like, we charge money to do this because this cost us like we're paying the guys to do it. Like that is so generous of you to say, I'm going to set this aside for you guys for free because I don't know if you guys have noticed, but when we do something, we want to bring you something that most people cannot do. And we said, Ernesto, you got to do it for free. You got to bring me something amazing that you've never done before. And he said, okay, I think I got it. We're going to actually tell them if their products, like how viral will their products be? Like take a look at their catalogs with them. It's like, that's exactly what they need. I just put that link in the chat box for you guys. So don't go to the link that's direct. Ernesto, if they go to bullseye.com, they're not going to get that $1,000 free call, right? They actually have to go through that special link from the code. So if you can put that code back on the scan code back on the screen. And I just put it in the chat box for everybody. So grab a call now. There are more than 200 people here with us, and they only have 25 spots. And if I were you, thinking about what I've seen and what Eric showed me and what Ernesto showed me, that TikTok can do to your Amazon brand. I mean, they're going to meet with you and look at your products for free. That is insane. Like it's literally worth $1,000 and they're going to do it for free. So take advantage. These guys are being super generous with their time. Ernesto is going to be on every single one of these calls along with Eric or an account manager or, somebody from their team that's doing this every day. And these guys do millions and millions on Amazon and on TikTok. So this is your opportunity. So I so appreciate you guys doing this. I know we have a ton of questions, but anything else to add on that, guys?
I just want to say before Eric that we've noticed, we realized that's why we do webinars, that's why we do content on our YouTube channel, and we like to do free consultations because we see that the more value we give, one way or another, we attract new customers. So we're not pushy. We just like to give a lot of value, a lot of assistance. There's enough. We get enough sales calls every single day. It's not like we're starving for new clients, but hey, if anybody wants to work with us, we're always open to taking on new clients.
And so I know we're not talking about your guys' services, but what you guys specialize in is you guys actually look at Amazon products and see how they fit into the TikTok ecosystem and then help with that, which is incredible. So it's like, if you guys meet with them and you discover hey, maybe my products could do well on TikTok, they are the easy button. They can help you get everything started. I know some people asked that earlier, can someone manage this for me? Well, it just so happens that you guys do this for a living. You're just being generous with your time and helping these folks that, are from my audience. So I so appreciate you guys.
If anybody does want to work with us, we do end-to-end management, completely hands-off, full TikTok Shop management.
Let me go ahead and add something about the offer. So what does it look like if you don't know what the right product is? Well, that looks like giving away hundreds of samples and getting no sales or not a lot of sales. And what are we going to do that's going to save you this money? Because giving away a couple hundred samples, that's expensive. That costs money. And so what we're going to do is we're going to look at analytics from TikTok because success leaves clues. So there's other products that are similar that have made videos that are doing well, and we're gonna study them, and then we're gonna study your product, and we're gonna see, is there a way that we can position this product and take advantage of the success that this other brand may be having, because success leaves clues. And so our job is going to look at your product and go over those points and see if we think that it would be a good fit. This could save you five to $10,000 in samples and can easily make it so your product is much more likely to be successful otherwise.
Yes, guys, some people are saying they're having trouble finding a calendar spot, and maybe they just went to the wrong link. So, Ernesto, if you can put that scan code back on there, I dropped the link to everybody. It should be clickable. I know you guys are in a hurry to get those spots grabbed because you want to be one of the first 25. If you've already grabbed a spot, just say I'm in or whatever in the chat box. That way we know. Karen got a spot. That's great. Ernesto just dropped the link again. It is clickable, so it should be good. And I see some spots on there, guys. So I don't know. Like I saw Bob
Let
was
me
saying
see.
like he didn't
Um,
find a spot. So yeah, so like a bunch of you guys are in and it's working. So I think it's okay. Um,
I'll share the.
oh, okay. Here's what it was, Ernesto. He clicked on a slot, but somebody was already filling out for that slot, so it got taken before he filled it out. So
Okay.
he picked a different slot. So he's good. Okay. Everybody's in that wants to be in then. Um, if you're not in and we still have slots left, or Ernesto and the guys still have slots left, then go ahead and grab it now.
Yeah,
It's
we
a
got about
free.
18 people. 18
Yep.
people. So we still have about seven spots left.
I'd like to bring up a point that I think is quite interesting. So TikTok was just purchased by an American company, and this is something that people were kind of on the fence. They wanted to know, is TikTok here to stay? Because Biden made it so that they had to do a certain things, otherwise they were going to get shut down. And then Trump extended that and extended that, but their viability or their eligibility was still at question. And the one thing that was required is that they got bought by an American counterpart, which just closed at the end of January. So TikTok is here to stay, and they are crushing it. I heard a number the other day. I think it was something like, I think they did like 800 billion in Q4, and they are crushing it. TikTok is hot and it is exploding.
That's amazing. And you said it was going to double next year, which is insane. Um, all right, guys. As you grab a call on their slot, like Ernesto's keeping track, please just say I'm in the chat box, and then we're going to go ahead and jump back into some of this Q&A, and then we'll make sure everybody has their questions answered like we promised here. All right.
Uh,
By the way, guys, you guys got tons of love in the chat box. Like Eric, they were saying Eric's amazing. Ernesto, the hosts are incredible. So kudos to you guys. You really brought some good stuff today. We greatly appreciate it.
Yes, thanks everybody. I do see some amazing questions. I'm going to go ahead and pick one out that I wanted to address, which was TikTok cutting off the seller shipping. So TikTok being acquired by an American company, the first thing they're trying to do is increase their bottom line, because up to this point, TikTok. Their strategy was about establishing market share and wasn't about gaining profits. Because now that they have been purchased, they wanted to eliminate seller shipping. And what did that mean? That meant buying shipping from TikTok. So they wanted to make sure you're either doing FBT, which is fulfilled by TikTok, or that you're purchasing labels from TikTok. And this is going to increase their bottom line. But what happened is they realized that the deadline that they gave was a little bit too sudden, and it wasn't the right time. So they did what which was kind of humorous, because a lot of people were freaking out, is they said seller shipping will continue. We changed our mind. And so just wanted to let you know that the discontinuation of seller shipping has been revoked, and as of today, you can continue seller shipping, whether that's MCF or from a 3PL. Now, but with that being said, is that they probably will do it again. So do keep that in mind.
Amazing. So Nilafar says, I got into FBT. Is it worth it?
Yes. Fulfilled. So the reason why FBT is good, well, there's basically this kind of synonymous to Amazon. So regular TikTok shipping is like FBM, and FBT is like FBA. With FBA, you or FBT, you have protection. So all of the same stuff that the refunds and all those services and different ways you can get for like lost orders or lost returns or item broke or whatever that all that stuff that you do on Amazon that you can get refunded on TikTok, you can as long as you do FBT, as well as you have protection as a seller. Without FBT, you have very limited protection, and the customer has more rights than the brand. So I would highly recommend to do FBT, as well as it gives you a nice little badge, as well as it doesn't hurt your account health if for your SLA. So FBT is what we recommend here. That's definitely the way to go.
Okay, great. So Terry and a lot of other people had questions on categories. Guys, it's not going to be category based, it's going to be product based. And that's why they have opened up their calendar to you guys to look at the virality score of your products, your catalogs. You may have opportunities that you may not even realize. And that's why they offered the call. So if you have a question like that, then just grab one of the first 25 calls. Ernesto, Michelle in the background said every link or every spot she clicks, it's taken. So you might just check on that and then make sure that we still have slots. And then I told Michelle if she sends her over an email, we'll make sure she gets in. Shlomi says, can we do AI videos instead of real live creators, Eric?
That is a great question. So that kind of goes back and forth. So where AI videos are today is okay, and sometimes it's pretty good. Um, Let me answer the question in a different way. In a year from now, yes. Today, maybe. AI is definitely better than the bad creators, but I don't think it's as good as the good creators. So in a year you might be able to, but as of now, I do think that the good creators still have some weight and definitely deliver better content.
Amazing. A bunch of people were asking about the replay. We are going to send out the replay, and Eric and Ernesto said that we can send out the slides, so that's awesome. Sean says, "How do you go about creating the actual affiliate community? Can you walk us through that process?"
Yeah, absolutely. So there's several softwares that we have used in the past, and the one that I'm currently using that I recommend is called Yuka. And basically, in here, it's basically a software that allows you to reach out to people based on filtered data. So, for example, people in this category, people that generate revenue over this amount, things like that. And one of the things that you can build in there is called a CRM. And a CRM, basically, you can set up buckets, and one of the buckets is creators that have generated revenue. And these are the creators that you want to create a group with. So I typically do something like creators that have generated over $250 in the brand. I send them this message, and this message is going to have a link to a WhatsApp group. And in this WhatsApp group, I have somebody from my team that's going to welcome them because I need to know who they are. I say, welcome to the group. May I please get your username? And then I thank them for joining. And then I start the usual festivities that we typically do in that group. And I add their information to a sheet. You need to track who they are so that you can give them special opportunities, because sometimes you might get one person that slides in who does $1,000 a month, and then the next guy could do 1 million. So it's very important to build that CRM also on a sheet, as well as in Yuka in the software.
Can you spell that software?
Yeah, absolutely. It's EUKA. There are two other softwares that are just as popular. There is Cruva, CRUVA, and there is also Reacher. I know all three of them personally. They're all very good people. They make great products, and the prices are pretty competitive. I personally use Yuka, but to each his own.
Great. We have more questions, guys. I asked anybody who couldn't get the calendar to work to just drop their email in the chat box. And I see a lot of you guys are. Ernesto will send you an email, make sure you get in as long as you're in the first 25.
You might want to refresh your screen, because I just said we still have a few slots available, but
Okay.
but maybe you're trying to select a time that someone else already booked it. So just refresh it or close it and reopen it.
Okay.
It should work, but we still have your emails here.
Sandy just got in. Yes, Terry said Kruva. That's right. Let's see here. We had more questions. Somebody asked about demographic viability over 50 from Russ. Russ, again, just meet with these guys. They'll look at your products and tell you for sure. Got to flip back. Man, there were so many questions back here that were so good.
So here I wrote down a few questions. So Eric, how do you import and can you import reviews from Amazon to your TikTok shop?
The answer is yes. Now, that is the short version. So I'll give you a medium answer for that. Now, review syndication is done through a few review apps such as Yotpo, Judge.me, or there's a few other that are probably the most popular on Shopify. The thing that you need to do to be able to do this is you need to use another app to get your reviews onto Shopify first and then synchronize them using one of those apps. It is a little bit of a kind of a quick and dirty, but it doesn't violate TikTok's TOS. So while it still works, I definitely think it is a good trick.
There was another one here. Damien says, what is a good way to find and source affiliates myself? We are in a smaller niche, so it's harder to get people to reply to us.
The answer is volume. So you have to understand the creators are being messaged by a million people. So you need to really kind of maybe change the way you're doing your filter. So when you open up one of these softwares that I have mentioned, how I do it when I'm just getting started is I'll do a filter. Let's say we're selling a magnesium. So maybe I'm doing something with personal care, health and supplements, and any other category that might fit that. And I make it so that the revenue, I might say people that are over $1,000. Something like that. And that's going to bring me a lot of creators. If you cast a small net, you're gonna get small results.
And I want to remind everyone to use Sellico, Sellico, Sellico.com. They have a pool of buyers that can buy your product at full price because without that, you can only reach out to 2,000 creators a week. Once you sell $2,000 worth of your product through an affiliate video, which Sellico, they do all of that. Essentially, you're giving away $2,000 worth of your product for free. Now you can reach out to 7,000 creators every week. So sometimes
software, people were asking about all the software you guys mentioned. Ernesto, if you can just put that link in the chat box, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Just to add on to that, so Sellico is our go-to because it's not just a purchase. You have to have a purchase from an affiliate video, and you have to have them do it within a certain window, and you need to make sure you're using a company you trust. I've been using Sellico for 5 or 6 years. It's my go-to. And the TikTok Shop Launchpad service is the perfect solution to get it so that you can reach out to people. Because when you start, you have 1,000 starter pack, which doesn't take you so far. Next thing you have is 2,000 per week. Then you have 7,000 per week. And once you exceed 50K or you get whitelisted because you are a $10 million plus seller, then you get unlimited. But Sellico is your solution for skipping the outreach issues that you may run into.
Right. How many samples do you need to project for the first 1 to 6 months from a cold start?
That is a great question. I would ask some questions about what type of product, but I'm just going to give you an answer that I typically like to do. I like to start with 150 samples, and I like to test the product, provided that the product meets our product assessment. So if it does meet our product assessment, I like to start with 150 because the first person that we need to sell is the creators themselves. So if we give out 400 or 1,000 messages and we don't get any sample requests, that is a bad indicator. So that kind of goes back to that earlier message about how not getting any interest from the creator. So sometimes it's not the right product. So one of the metrics that I like to look at on the software is sample approval rate, which is percentage of samples divided by total messages sent. So this is an indicator that it might not be the right product, but it's also possible that you're not casting a wide enough net. So, but my answer would be 150. As we start to get traction, I like to scale to 400.
Excellent. Madison says, how do you get those good affiliates? We have a good number of affiliates, but they usually just do one-off posts.
Yeah, that's a great question. That is the question. There's a lot of services. There's Brand Meets Creator. There's Join Brands. These are all paid services that you can do. You can do retainers, but what I like to do the standard create a filter bot, and I like to hit the category, and I like to cast a wide net, and I like to let the creators, the micro influencers, work their way up. Now we're an agency, so we have thousands of creators at our disposal that we built relationships with, which definitely give us a little bit of an edge because otherwise you're starting from zero. But if you are at zero, I like a filter bot, which I'm basically casting a wide net. I'm taking all of the categories that might be applicable to my product. I'm setting a benchmark of maybe a GMV over a maybe $500 or $1,000. And then I'm going to let them come in and I'm going to start to work with these people and give them an opportunity to prove themselves. And as your product gets traction, success, virality, the good creators will come to you, as I showed you in the presentation.
All right. A few people had asked, like, if they're not based in the US, can they do this?
The answer is yes, but it requires some trickery. And what I mean by that is you need a US point of contact. Now, there's maybe you have a friend, or maybe you have something to that effect, or there are some services that can help you with this. I do know that we do have a service where we have a American point of contacts that can help you with that. So I'd book a call and bring that up, and that's something that we might be able to help you with.
Oh, great. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, several questions about, foreigners wanting to sell here. So I think that'll help. So guys, not only will they look at your products, if you grab a call with them, they'll look at your, business setup to make it work. Let's see here. When it comes to putting your item on flash sale, doesn't this affect your Amazon business? Amazon penalizes sellers if they sell the item cheaper somewhere else. What do you recommend doing?
Yeah, good question. Good question. So I've worked with many 7, 8 figure sellers, and this has been a concern that they have had. Now, keep in mind, having a sale is okay. You need to make sure that your top price, your retail price matches Amazon, and that is essentially you can always have a discount or sale on any platform, but your retail price needs to match. Now, with that being said, I have not seen a TikTok price cause a pricing error on Amazon. Now, will that happen in the future? Probably. I just haven't seen it yet. But with that being said, to make sure that you are compliant and you do not cause a pricing error when this does happen, just make sure to pay attention that your retail price must match. You can always have a discount, and that's the same for any platform.
Can I have two TikTok shops for my two different brands? Says Danny.
Say that question one more time.
Danny wants to know if he can have two different TikTok shops because he has two different brands.
Absolutely. So this is kind of hard to find, but if you search kind of creatively, you'll find that you're allowed to have 3 shops per LLC.
Haroon says, can we add a UK trademark to the USA TikTok shop? It's kind of
Well,
tricky.
legally, a UK trademark does not protect you in the US, so I would go with no.
Lori wants to know about listing optimization on TikTok. She says, I'm sure it's different than Amazon.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's kind of interesting thing about TikTok. TikTok is in the beginning. It is the wild, wild west. So the sophisticated things that we do on Amazon aren't even to TikTok yet. So they are launching some crazy new things that they're launching in the advertising with TikTok business ads and search ads, but they still have not gotten to the point where the SEO is the main component that drives sales and ranking, etc. Like Amazon, you don't need the data dives and all these things. So on TikTok, you want to make sure your listing is not keyword stuff, that it tells the product and it communicates what it sells, and it's more for the creator and the consumer than it is for ranking with SEO.
Albert says, did you say you can copy your Amazon reviews to TikTok shop?
The answer is yes, but it does require a little bit of tomfoolery, a little bit of you need to know first. The first thing is to get the reviews off of Amazon. That is a trick in itself, but there are some apps that do that. The answer is yes. You'd have to use the apps that I mentioned before, Judge.me. You have to get the reviews off, get them to Shopify, and then use Judge.me or Yapo or one of those to syndicate to TikTok.
I know it's from experience. I know it's a bit tricky and sometimes it could take a few weeks, but yes, you extract them from Amazon into your Shopify, and then with software, you bring them from Shopify to your TikTok shop. Or you can use Celico. The great thing about Celico is that when you do these giveaways to break through the initial 2,000, let's say your product is $20, you give away 100 to break the $2,000, you get about 50% of those purchases leave you a review. So you can still do this on TikTok. We don't know for how long, but as of now, you can still give away a product for free with a review.
All right. So Patricia says on Amazon, we have a lot of options for analytics. Do we have that on TikTok Shop?
The answer is yes. The software that I recommend is Calodata. There's another one called FastMoss.
You're going to have to spell this, Eric.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and paste it in there. Just like any software, they decided to use a name that can't have any trademark infringement, but nobody can pronounce it. So I'm going to paste it in here. Now, one thing I would say is that they are still growing, and that's why it is such an opportunity. Because when I log in today, there's going to be a little badge that says new. And the changes are happening so much that I could log in tomorrow and there'll be changes that I have not even been introduced to yet.
Melissa says,
so here's the.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Eric, if you have more.
Oh, that was it. Go ahead.
Okay. Melissa says, do we need an existing Amazon business before launching the TikTok cold start?
The answer is no. But the halo effect that we discussed is non-existent if you don't have anything to have the halo effect on. Now, with that being said, the halo effect not only is Amazon, you also know increase traffic on your website, could be Walmart and other platforms, because essentially you have to understand what you're doing is called top of funnel. You're letting people know that your product solves a problem that they did not know existed prior to watching that video, which is awareness, which is something that people on Amazon typically forget to do, and all they focus on is bottom of funnel, bottom of funnel. So the halo effect can be website, can be Amazon. It's pretty much anywhere you are available.
Chesky says, do you have a powerfully attractive invite script that will pull the influencers in? Let's see. Yeah, so there you go. Because I guess they said that they're pulling in influencers, they're just not successful.
Yeah, so the creators are looking at you the same way that you were looking at them. One thing that I would say is there's two things that you can play with. You can play with the commission as well as the criteria in which you are approving. These are the two things that you can play with to kind of either get more creators or better creators. Now, I would recommend that you make sure your commission is as high as possible in the message so that it gets their attention, because these people are looking at it as a business opportunity. So you need to make sure that you are abundantly clear of what you're offering. And so I would move your commission to the top and get right to the point. Treat them like you're talking. Don't do like a pitch or like a sales message. Do like you're communicating to them. Like I've watched your audience. I think that you'd be a good fit. This is our product. This is what we're offering you. We look forward to working together. Like you want to really get to the point as quickly as possible.
Yeah, one thing I've seen people totally mess up when they do these affiliate outreach, Eric, is like they want to like say their entire life story and their product's life story and their offer all in one message. And it's like so overwhelming. And it just seems like you put no effort into this at all. You're just copying, pasting. That has never worked for me.
100%.
All right. Angie says, do purchases through lives count on this?
Say that one more time.
Do purchases through lives count on this? I'm thinking she was referencing like maybe something you were talking about a few minutes ago.
Maybe about the $2,000
the outreach.
Outreach.
Okay. Do live purchases count as GMV to increase your GMV? The answer is yes. Yes, you can have you can make money in a few buckets. One of them is live content, one of them is shoppable videos, and the other is branded content. Now, revenue is revenue. TikTok just wants to see that you're here to play and that you are a real brand. And when your revenue grows above a certain amount, you will get your outreach increase. Now, I will say that the purchase has to be from an affiliate content to raise your affiliate outreach. So branded content doesn't count towards that, but that is one of the buckets that will drive sales.
Excellent. A bunch of people are asking about the replay again. We're going to send out the replay later today as soon as it's rendered, so watch your email for that. Angela says, I created a shop store and was flagged fairly quickly for a violation and my store was closed. I was told to start over with a new email address. Is this common and what did I do?
Well, there's a lot of questions that I would ask to answer this, but the short answer is you have to remember that everything is using AI. So your product or shop was flagged due to AI. And what does AI do? AI means that you're guilty until proven innocent, and so they want you to do an appeal. So your product or your brand may have done something, may have not, but it's being categorized with people that have, and so they want you to provide documentation, basically that would exclude you from being a guilty party. Now, the way that they do it is that there's two appeals, then it's permanent, and then you have to have it escalated by a rep. Now, this is a challenge. So, what I would recommend is that you take your story and bring it to the call, and let's get you some real data because without knowing exact specifics, that the answer might be too broad.
Somebody asked if exporting your reviews from Amazon was against terms of service.
It's not against TOS yet.
Okay. Morgan says how yeah, oh, yeah, they're asking about Canadian sellers. Let's see here. Dovey's asking a question about categories again. Dovey, just grab a call. They'll look at your product specifically. Yarden says, what's the average recommended commission rate when you're starting off?
So, like I was saying, that's the one of the metrics that you can play with. There's three commissions. There is shop ad commission, there is open collaboration, and there's target collaboration. The shop's ad, I'll start with the open collaboration. So, if they come to us, that's the open collaboration. If we go to them, that's the target collaboration. If we spend any ad revenue on it, that is the shop's ad commission. So, I typically like to start with a 25-15-5 or 25-15-10. And what that is 25% target collaboration, and then go down to a 15% for open collaboration, and then maybe 5 or 10 for shop ad commission. You want to have a lower shop ad commission so that you can scale the advertising, so that you can essentially generate more sales for that creator, but also do it in a way that is sustainable for the brand.
Perfect. Albert says, does TikTok Shop provide an account manager for bigger sellers?
Yes. Once $10 million sellers plus, they instantly get one. And we have connections at TikTok where we can get that set up immediately. One thing you would get is you get FBT and you would get a rep, as well as your outreach would be unlimited from day one. Besides that, you get one. It's in your growth tab in TikTok. It talks about the journey because everything's gamified on TikTok. So it tells you when, and it's at 50K.
All right. Dimitri says, if TikTok leads to Amazon, who's getting the attribution commission, me or the creator?
If you must be referring to the halo effect. So if somebody hears about your product and they go on Amazon and they purchase, there is no attribution because there is no links to TikTok or excuse me to Amazon.
So it's not linked directly from TikTok. They're actually just leaving TikTok and going to Amazon and finding you, which is fantastic for your ranking. Let's see.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right. It's completely organic. And here's a question that I get asked a lot. Can we get those videos from the affiliate so we can use it on Meta or Instagram? The answer is no, unless you pay them, unless you buy the rights. They don't want you using their video and making money without them because they don't make money, right? They don't make commission if you use their video on another platform. So they want you to keep keep the video, the shoppable video on TikTok so they can make their 10, 15, 20% commission. If you want to use it to put on your website or Instagram, Facebook, whatever, then you just have to buy the rights. And, different creators charge different amounts, but you can always do that.
Yeah, just to add to that point, what I highly recommend is do not make somebody angry that has your product and a video camera. So what Ernesto was touching on is called usage rights, and it might not even be that much. Could be $50, could be $100, but if it's super viral, well, you're probably going to pay for it. And the stable point that I would say is typically a good converting video on Meta will convert well on TikTok, as well as a good converting video on TikTok will typically convert well on Meta. So they complement each other quite nicely.
Yep. Karen says, so you can't post your Amazon link on the TikTok video. They have to leave TikTok and go to Amazon separately. Yes, Karen, but that's what's happening because they are using TikTok as like the discovery platform to find like, oh, I want this product. And then they're actually wanting to, like, they could check out on TikTok, but they're deciding like, how I'm going to go and buy this on Amazon. So you're going to capture the sale either way. But when they go to Amazon, you're registering that sale as an organic sale, which then helps in so many other ways, right? There's no ad spend, so it's higher margin. You get ranking, all these things. Okay.
There's also more trust on Amazon. People I mean, I could buy a banana on Amazon, take 2 bites and return it, no questions asked. And everybody knows this and they feel warm and fuzzy. So a lot of times they might buy it on Amazon just because of their trust that they've built with Amazon.
Asma says, is there a way to automate orders like FBA? You talked about this earlier, right? You can get invited to FBT, which is fulfillment by TikTok, and they'll do similar, like a similar service to FBA, right?
Yeah. FBT is very similar to FBA. About a week or two ago, they had no partners, but they recently, as of this week, they partnered with FedEx. So you can, like on Amazon, you can partner carrier with UPS, and on TikTok now they partnered with FedEx. So you have that opportunity, and it is it's pretty good. It's pretty good. They've done a very good job building it, and the growing pains and the issues are much less than expected.
Rich says, how do you organize your affiliates outside of TikTok Shop? Like, do you organize them by categories or top affiliates, or do you have sprint competitions? Or I know you mentioned using WhatsApp as a good platform to talk to them, but is there any other way that you organize, like getting these guys to actually, hustle for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I use a combination of things. I use something as old school as a spreadsheet, but the ways that I would recommend for you to do it would be using the software that I talked about originally. You can have a CRM, so you could basically set it up to label them based upon the revenue that they drive for you. So as soon as they make 250, they go into a bucket. Once they get to 500, they go into a different bucket, and you'll be able to go through there on the software and kind of get an idea of what is the contributions from these creators and what tiers they are in.
Albert says, can the affiliate give viewers a link to Amazon, which includes the attribution link?
The answer is no. And the reason being is because just like Amazon, TikTok doesn't want you driving off platform. So it's actually going to cause problems for the video from an account health standpoint. You can't be mentioning your website, can't be mentioning Amazon, Walmart. They want you to keep TikTok customer on TikTok. But with that being said, what's going to happen is different than what you can do. So you need to keep it on platform, but we know that the consumer is going to go buy where they feel comfortable and have trust established, which today is Amazon.
Alina says, how do you plan and manage inventory when a product can go viral quickly?
Absolutely. Funny story. That brand that went to $1 million, 8 months before we went to $1 million, we had a viral video. Somebody had the idea. It was a product that lit up. They had the idea to turn the lights off, and the video was super cool. And we sold 400 units in 30 minutes, and we sold out. We then bought 50,000 units, and we went on to continue to make viral videos and to explode. How do we keep up with inventory? Well, it's different because there isn't an organic ranking. So on Amazon, what happens is that you lose your ranking, your momentum, and it's almost like dying on Amazon. If you run out of stock, it's the worst thing that can happen. On TikTok, you do lose your momentum, but a good video will always be a good video, and it'll drive just as many sales as soon as it gets back, and we can get the same traction much easier than Amazon, as there is no organic ranking. So it's not really the same issue as Amazon. You don't necessarily lose everything that you've done to build your product to that extent. All we have to do now is basically take that same amazing video and start advertising, and we're going 0 to 100 as soon as possible.
Amazing. Ryan says, regarding taking creator content and using it on different platforms like Meta, isn't it possible to negotiate with the influencer to keep getting commissions from the other platforms, but at a lower rate, like versus paying them on a set amount for the content?
Absolutely, Ryan. I highly recommend paying them just for the video and working out no commission. But it really depends on the video. A lot of times, let's say it's a medium producer, maybe you can get away with $50 to $100 for the video with no percentage. Now, that's what I would recommend, doing a flat fee. So that's a yes.
All right, great. So, Ernesto, I ran out of questions, I think. If you had any from long ago or that you had caught that I missed, let's get to it. Albert says, Albert has a question. If you don't have any, Ernesto.
I have one, and this is a great question, and I don't think we touched on this already, but someone asked, how important is branded content on your TikTok page?
Okay. The answer is, well, it's entirely up to you. So let me give you an example. There is some maniacs out there, some brands that literally redefine what crazy is in the sense of marketing. And for an example, I'm going to give you is Mary Ruth. Mary Ruth is a monster. And what do they do that makes them so crazy, besides the fact that they generate hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue, is they go live 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. That is going the extra mile. They make $300,000 a month in branded content, and they set the bar to the maximum of what can be done. Now, in my experience with brands that I've worked with and on a smaller level, I've noticed that when you're starting to get traction, your branded content will get traction too. So that, for example, that brand that did very well, the branded search became the third best creator. And so you start to kind of generate some free marketing, some free sales that you didn't have to give samples for. So I highly recommend it, but sometimes it doesn't really get a lot of traction in the beginning. But again, it is free publicity. What I would recommend is if you're a founder, go look at other brands that you like or that you respect and see what those founders are doing. And I would use that because a lot of people over curate or they're hard on themselves. They don't know what to do. And honestly, TikTok is a fun platform. Have fun, be natural, and go look at some other founders, see what they're doing that you respect. And I would highly recommend doing branded content.
All
I
right.
will say one other thing though is if you remember to tag the product, because then we can advertise it in TikTok Shop.
Great, Eric. Guys, I put the link to grab a call with these guys if you want. If you missed it, if you just joined, they actually generously offered to meet with you for free. They typically charge $1,000 an hour to do it. They're going to meet with you, look at your product, see if they're a fit for TikTok. This is not a sales call. They're just doing it because I asked them to put something insanely generous together, and they said, we got your back. So appreciate you guys. We have some more questions. Mark said, will the same approach work on Instagram? We have way more followers on Instagram than we do on TikTok.
Interesting question. Interesting question. So I am a personal believer that we're heading towards an affiliate world and an omni-channel affiliate world. And what that looks like is that every platform is going to be driving sales to some platform like Amazon or D2C. And so I think that it is very important to repurpose these creators. And what that looks like, there's a couple services that do it. There's one called Levanta, and you can get creators to essentially drive traffic to Amazon and you get that 10%, which is fantastic. It's a great solution. But what I try to do is I try to gather creators from Instagram, gather creators from TikTok, put them in the same pool. It's because the idea is to repurpose people on multiple platforms. You want to get the people on Instagram making content on TikTok. You want to get the people on TikTok making content on Instagram. And then you want to ultimately get them all to drive it to Amazon because Amazon is your breadbasket. So definitely, I think that building an affiliate network that goes beyond just TikTok is definitely a smart play. And if you have a big following off platform, it definitely gives you an edge.
Oh man. Let's see here. How much do we pay UGC creators for branded content since it doesn't convert much initially?
Honestly, if you can, I would make it yourself and go look at other founders and see what they're doing and realize that it's not as complicated as they think. If you look, you'll notice that somebody making a video in the warehouse. You just have to find your vibe, find your flow. But I'd highly recommend doing it yourself because you are the brand and you are ultimately the story. You're the driving force behind it. However, if you don't feel comfortable doing it and you don't have an employee or something, then you're going to want to negotiate something with a creator on a platform like Joint Brands or Social Cat or there's many platforms that do this. But again, that's all negotiated and that's going to be on a situation by situation basis, but you want to find somebody that you like their style, probably pay them $500 a month, something like that. And again, it's an additional cost. So I would highly recommend trying to figure out a way to do it internally because there's always value that you have that you might be overlooking.
Letty says, what is the median age of TikTok shoppers, please?
That's a good question. We in another webinar we went over the different demographics, but it's pretty even. Like I went on one of the slides, half of TikTok users are over the age of 35, half of them.
Yeah, that's
And yeah, which is wild. And then on a different slide, I went over how 50% of TikTok users in the US are already purchasing on TikTok. So I would, what is the average I would say all ages. I would say all ages. Maybe between 18 and, if I had to guess, I don't know what you think, Eric. Oh, there it is. Look at that. 18 to 24, 30%. Okay, 24, 25 to 34. Okay, there we go. And 35 plus is rapidly growing. Yeah. Yeah, so you see all ages, all ages. It doesn't really matter. Like, if you're gonna promote your product, you might select a product that is just demonstrable and an impulse buy, as opposed to like focus on a certain age group. Because there's right now in TikTok, there's enough people of all ages buying products on TikTok Shop. So I wouldn't really focus too much on that.
Richard says, "Can I use HeyGen to create UGC content?" Do you know anything about that, Eric?
I am not familiar with HeyGen, but there are so many services that do this. It's truly a preference. When it comes to UGC, I've used Social Cat. I've used Join Brands. I've used, I think it's called, I can't remember the other one, but
I believe HeyGen is an AI tool, if I'm not mistaken.
Ryan says, if a brand wants to work with Bullseye sellers, what does it cost? Is there a percentage of sales or a flat fee, or what is it? Also, if someone wants them to handle everything with their TikTok account, full management, what does that cost? Is this something you can answer generically, or does it have to
Yeah.
be? Okay.
No. So we're actually pretty transparent with our pricing. You can go to our website and download our deck and see our scope of work. But essentially, we do everything from setting you up to full account management, working with creators, running ads, account health, et cetera. And we charge $6,500 per month for full management, plus 3% of the TikTok Shop sales. And then we have a special program for smaller brands doing under $1 million a year. If you're doing under $1 million, then we have our TikTok Shop Lite program, where it's $4,000 a month, and then 5% of the TikTok Shop sales.
Okay, and that's like full management. You guys are handling the entire thing.
Completely hands off. Yeah, for
Yeah,
the
that's
client.
amazing. Awesome. All right. Well, I think we've hit all questions. A few people wanted to say hey to you, Eric, and kudos to all of you guys on the presentation. This has been amazing. Oh, I guess we missed one from Albert. He says, "What is the highest number of units you have sold on a new viral product in a month?" Eric, I know you just had a huge month in December. You had $1 million month. What's the highest one you've seen?
1 second, I'm going to actually look it up for you, but I will say that one thing that I have seen, which I think can be quite interesting, is when TikTok sales actually exceed Amazon sales, and I think that could be incredible. But hold on 1 second, I'm gonna get you some good numbers real quick.
Bob says, "This was great. Thank you so much, Bob." We're doing a session for sellers, a strategy session like this every single week. Now, it's not always about TikTok. Usually it's not. But guys, you probably noticed in your inbox, we've been talking about different things each week. This is awesome. We're trying to help from different angles. Like one week we talked about taxes. Another week we talked about removing negative reviews. This week we're talking about TikTok. Next week we're talking about intellectual property, like patents and trademarks. So guys, keep an eye out. We're going to be inviting you to different things, and maybe a few months down the road, we'll have you guys back to give us an update, Eric and Ernesto.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So to answer your question, in the month of December, for the brand that we hit $1 million, we sold 33,000 units.
33,000 units. Well,
33,000.
that's pretty amazing. Yeah. All right. Well, Lori's interested in Walmart in the future. Chesky says, "How do I get a great hook?" Yeah, these are all great questions, guys. I know I've held you guys up for too long. Is there anything that we should cover before we let these guys get out of here?
I want to say, if you have more questions, just book a call. It doesn't cost anything. Book a call. We'll go over your catalog, and then if you have additional questions, we'll be free to answer any questions you have.
All right, guys. Since that scan code was giving us some troubles earlier, I put the link in the chat box one more time. Like Ernesto said, so graciously, offering up their time for free. Ernesto's going to be on every call. You might meet with Eric or one of the other account managers, but they're going to take a peek at your business for you and with you, and let you know what they would do. And they're not going to try to sell you anything, which is amazing. So, guys, I so appreciate it. I so appreciate all the sellers and business people that are hanging out with us today and every week. I just saw a couple people say, when we host a webinar, they always get so much out of it. Even as somebody that's experienced in e-commerce, they're getting a lot out of these sessions. So Ernesto and Eric, you really brought it today, and I appreciate you guys.
Thank you. Amazing.
Yes.
Thanks everyone.
All right.
Yes, thank you very much for having me, and I look forward to possibly giving more data and more value in the future.
I super appreciate you guys. We'll see everybody next week on the next session. Thanks, guys. All right. Bye.